Hi, welcome to the Getting Started video for MBA512, Business Planning and Strategic Management. So I'm going to follow the course menu path here, and the first item in the menu path is announcements. So I would suggest reading over the announcements in their entirety because it answers many questions and provides you with a lot of fact-based materials for the course. The first announcement will be the Getting Started announcement, which I gave you 6 steps to get started with this course during week 1. I also list the midterm and final exam dates. So there's going to be a midterm on June 11th that's going to start at 2 a.m. and close at 11:30 p.m. So you're only able to see this assignment under the assignments button, which is here on the menu on June 11th. Then the final exam has 2 parts. Part 1 is a multiple choice exam on July 2nd, and part 2 is an essay-based exam on July 2nd. Now, as far as the format, the midterm is going to be 50 multiple choice questions covering chapters 1 through 6 of the strategy textbook. The final exam, part 1, will be 50 multiple choice questions covering chapters 7 through 12 of the strategy textbook. And the second part will be an essay-based exam, which will be 14 short essays from chapters 1 through 12 of the strategy textbook and chapters 1 through 6 of the Blue Ocean textbook. And these are not very long essay questions. Some are short answer, or some are just, a couple sentences to answer. So it shouldn't take too long. Now, I also have here a schedule of what we'll be doing for each of the 6 weeks. I lay out the chapters we'll be covering and the videos to be watched and the homework to complete for all the weeks up until week 6 of the course. And then I also have a handy guide for how to make proper citations with examples and websites to review the different citation styles that are required for the case studies you're going to be completing for this class. Okay, so that's announcements. If we move on to the syllabus, I'm just going to do a quick overview of the syllabus. Please take the time to read this in its entirety when you're able to. This is an asynchronous course, so there'll be no live meetings or no live classes. Everything will be provided online. Now, the course description, this will give you the overall idea and the description of the course, including its learning goals, how we're going to accomplish the learning goals. The class time will be broken up between pre-recorded lectures and discussion boards. We have 2 textbooks. We have Strategic Management, Theory and Practice. So when I say the Strategic Management textbook, this is the textbook I'm talking about. You're free to use the 5th or 6th edition. There really is not much difference between the 2 textbooks, so use whichever one you prefer. Now, the second textbook is the Blue Ocean Strategy textbook. There are a few different versions of this. They're all the same, really. It just depends on the year it was published. So you just pick up the Blue Ocean Strategy, and you'll be fine for the class. Both these books are typically under $40 or less, so they're very inexpensive books to work with. The assignments will be posted on Blackboard. The grading breaks down into participation, which this is just basically your work on the discussion boards. I have mini cases worth 30 points that you're going to complete, mini casework. The midterm exam and the 2 final exams. Midterm is 15 points. The first final exam is 15 points. The second final exam is 7 points. And the Zoom simulation, which is 15 points. This is how your points, this total of 100 points for the class, and so your points translate into a letter grade. So the test will be based on the textbook materials, and the participation will be in the form of how you participate on discussion boards. And class goes from May 24th to July 2nd. And then I also break down the outline of the class and go over a couple of key information for the syllabus. Okay, moving to the course materials, we have the course documents. This will include an example case study project. So if you want an example of how to complete a case study, I have one there. I have the PowerPoints for the Strategic Management and Blue Ocean textbook. And I also have answers to the end of chapter practice true and false and multiple choice questions. If you wanted to see what the answers are. Some people like to review those before the exams. Okay. Now moving into the class video. So to watch the video lectures for the class, just click on this class video button here, and this will pop you over to YouTube. You subscribe to YouTube because sometimes I do post new video content. Specifically for the simulation each week, I'll post a review of the round to review how each team is doing and give hints and guidelines are moving forward. So it's important to have subscription to either the playlist or the channel to get those updates, and everything's nice and organized here for you. Okay, let's move on to, and also you'll notice with the announcements, I will send an announcement out each week of what you should be reading and the videos you should be watching as an additional reminder. Let's move into the discussions. So we have discussion questions for this class. So each week we have a different discussion question for a total of 6 discussion questions that you click here. I actually wrote click here, so you click here to start the discussion question, and then you come in here and you would create a thread to begin the questions. There'll be the instructions will be here. To begin a thread, you should put your first and last name, and then maybe DQ week 1, something descriptive, and then you put your answers in and submit, and then you'll have your thread with your author in here and your title, where once you've posted, you can read other students' threads and reply to them, and you can also rate their quality from 0 to 5 stars. And I'm sure that you've done discussion questions before. So when I first started teaching online, this was something new. But by this point, I feel that most students have been working with discussion boards, and you're pretty familiar with how this works. So the questions are here in the instructions. The first one is, give me some ideas of what you think strategy is. And I have a couple of questions here. And I typically would like you to start, posting your original responses or original replies between Monday and Wednesday, and then reply to other students' posts between Wednesday and Saturday. So your participation is optimal if you participate daily, but should at least participate at least a minimum of 2 days a week, 1 day to post your original posts and another day to respond to other students' posts. And also keep an eye on your when you create a forum, people may respond to your post and ask you questions, so you are responsible for reading the replies to your post and answering my questions or other students' questions may have for you on the discussion board. And discussion boards are meant to help reinforce the materials of the chapter. So not really looking for you to give any answers from the textbooks, but for you to come up with your own examples and establish your own ideas. So it's really simulating a discussion we might have in the classroom. And again, the grading on this, I do look to see the quality of your original reply, which is answering the questions, and then the quality of your replies to other students. And I ask that you make at least 2 replies to 2 other students during the week of the discussion board, and that your original post should be somewhere between 200 to 300 words, and replies to other students should be closer to 100 words, something substantial that really moves the discussion forward. Okay. Now, assignments, we click into assignments, we have our case study. So we have the discussion board assignment, which is, there's nothing you need to do here. It's all in the discussion boards, but I just lay out the fact that it's 18 points. And I'm going to set up 6 discussion boards. Each discussion board is worth 3 points. Then we get into our case studies. So here are the questions to the case studies. These case studies are at the back of the textbook. It's the same case studies whether you have version 5 or 6 of the textbook. And you read here are the 3 questions I want you to answer after you read the case. Once you're done, you're going to write up your document, save it as a Word or a PDF file, and then you're going to click on the assignment link up here, and it'll reiterate the due date and the assignment information. And then you click on Browse Your Computer to attach the file, and then click Submit to send the file to me once it's done. And then I will grade after that. Now, keep in mind that you should have your name on the assignment on your file when you complete. At the top, you have your heading and your name, and you're going to your grade won't be instant. I have to go back and grade it at a certain period after a certain period of time. So make sure that you answer the questions to your best ability, and you don't necessarily only use the information provided in the case study. You should use information that you could research from other articles and publications to add to your answer, to fill out your answer, and make sure that when you add other publications that you cite them properly in a reference list at the end of the paper, as well as putting the citation next to the direct quote or the piece of information. For example, if you say that Costco sales have increased 25%, and you found that in a quarterly financial report, you want to cite that financial report, or maybe you found it in a article that discusses Costco's profitability and sales. So you would just want to, if you cite a fact like that, the number, which is a specific number related to the company, you want to cite that properly in the paper. So for each week, we have 2 case studies for each week. And these are all in the back of the textbook of the chapters we're covering. And they typically have 3 questions to cover for each of every week for the 6 weeks. So those would be the case studies you're going to complete. And then at the bottom, we have the Zoom simulation, which I'm going to create a separate video to describe how to create an account, sign into the Zoom simulation, create your team, and start participating. So look for a second video. It's a little bit bigger of a topic, so I'm not going to weigh down the getting started video with all the Zoom instructions. That will be a separate video that will be posted after this video. Okay, so those are your assignments to do. Now, to get to the simulation project, you click this button, and it'll bring you to, try that again, you click this button, brings you to the simulation where you can register yourself, and you click here to register as a student. But again, there'll be a second video to more completely cover that coming up. I also have the link to the strategy textbook. So this is the link. This link is specifically going to the 5th edition, but you can go to the homepage on this. Go to the book list on this, and for under strategic management, you see that there's also a 6th edition listed for pricing details. It's the same price. So unless you're getting a used book of the 5th edition, I do recommend that you get the 6th edition if you can. Okay. And they have different versions of, I guess, different levels of buying the book. You really only need the basic ebook for the class. You don't really, I don't think these add-ons add too much, but that's up to you if you want to do that. Okay, going back to so then we have the Blue Ocean textbook, which is just going to bring you over to Amazon. You can buy it anywhere. Most bookstores carry it, or you can order it online for somewhere else, or maybe even your local library has it, but just wanted to give you a link to that. And then finally, we have your grade book here, where I will list all your grades for the course as you go through the course and complete the course. Everything will be listed there. So I hope you found this introductory video to the course helpful in getting started. And remember that just following this menu path will help keep yourself organized. So each week you will have videos to watch. You'll have your discussion questions to answer, and your assignments to complete, and your simulation contributions to make each week. So you could use this menu path to help keep organized with your work and make the class as intuitive and simple to follow and complete. And if you have any questions about the course, there is a discussion panel called Class Questions, where you can click in here and post class questions that you think might be helpful for all the class. And then, of course, if you have questions or issues that are more of a private nature, you can email those directly to me. Thank you for your time, and I hope you found this helpful.